Another cool mechanic in Doom the Dark Ages is just how they managed to make a bullet hell work in a Doom game. Doom is all about pushing forward, being aggressive, and ripping and tearing demons apart. Inherently, bullet hell is juxtaposed to that. Bullet hell is all about dodging, moving, avoiding damage whilst chipping away at enemies. So how did Doom do it? The parrying system. Parrying is used in a lot of games to be a more aggressive player response compared to dodging. In Doom, you avoid the red attacks but parry the green attack. Parrying green attacks does heaps of damage to the enemy who fired the attack and usually stuns them. The way the attacks have been designed forces the player to keep moving towards the bullets. For example, there is one common attack which fans 3 lasers out from the enemy. This attack always alternates which laser is parryable, from left to right, meaning the player will need to constantly be moving towards the laser so they can parry it, which despite it being a bullet hell style attack, really makes the player feel like they are on the aggressive. I think a lot of people were worried about how this game would maintain the tone and feel of playing the Slayer with a shield and bullet hell style enemy attacks, but this one cool mechanic was designed specifically to put those worries to rest. One cool mechanic in Death Stranding 2 is the weather system. Many games have weather systems of course, but the weather system in Death Stranding 2 is the most impactful and reactive weather system that I've ever seen. If you don't know, the entire point of the gameplay of Death Stranding is to get from point A to B. How you navigate through the environment is up to you. In Death Stranding 1, though the terrain was tricky and interesting enough, backtracking to and from the same points could become a bit repetitive, because the terrain is always the same. The weather system in Death Stranding 2 fixes that. If it rains, rivers which weren't there before now become obstacles. The plain of desert that you have crossed 3 or 4 times could suddenly be hit by a sandstorm. You could even get hit by lightning if you choose to brave certain weather conditions. Bottom line, the new weather system in Death Stranding 2 works simply because it adds variety to the puzzle that is getting from point A to B, which is cool. One cool mechanic in South of Midnight is how the wall running works. Wall running has been around for ages. You jump on a wall, run for a bit, and jump off the wall before you fall off. With South of Midnight though, it works differently. Using the character's hooks, not only can you run on a wall, but you can also move down and up. This allows the player to firstly not fall off the wall, but secondly choose the height from which they jump off of the wall. Now this is a cool mechanic simply because it takes a mechanic which has been done in so many games and puts a cool spin on it, and it's executed really well. One cool mechanic in Expedition 33 is Verso's perfection mechanic. The way this mechanic works is every time Verso lands a hit or evades successfully via a dodge or parry, the perfection meter ticks up 1. Every time Verso is hit, it ticks down 1. The perfection meter starts at D and can go all the way up to S. The higher the rank Verso is on, generally, the more damage he does. Each character in Expedition 33 has their own mechanic, their own gimmick, but Verso's is so cool because it's the most connected and synergistic with the rest of the game. The entire combat system is built around understanding how the enemies work, how they attack, when to dodge, when to parry, and when to attack. Learning enemies whilst having Verso in your party not only gives you the passive effect of being better at evading, but a more tangible benefit via the perfection system. It feels like during the design process, the perfection system very much went hand in hand with the initial concept of the combat system, and it shows. Not only that, but Verso's skills also add a lot of value to the perfection system. Certain skills do more damage at and beyond certain ranks, and other skills' effects only work at certain ranks. This allows you to strategize and get the most out of any rank, which is important to avoid the feeling of sluggishness when your rank resets at the start of every battle. For example, Quick Strike, when used at rank D, gives more perfection, usually getting you to at least rank B. Adding this move to your kit and using it at the start of every fight jumpstarts your progression up the perfection rankings. One cool mechanic in the Altars is how it manages time. As the Altars is at least part management sim, like others in the genre, it has to bend the rules slightly when it comes to representing time to the player. Each day you start at 7 AM, with the end of the day finishing around 8 PM. Every in-game minute lasts about 1.5 seconds of real world time, meaning a full day would take about 19.5 minutes. Unlike other management sims, you cannot speed up or slow down this time with a time dial. Instead, different actions take up a different amounts of time. Mining something or crafting something might take an in-game hour to do so, so instead of the game making you sit there for 90 seconds, the game speeds itself up. So the action is still taking an in-game hour, but instead of waiting 90 seconds, it's closer to 5 to 10 seconds. This limits the disconnect between what the player is doing and the time in which they are doing it in. There's no cut to black until it's done, which could break immersion, and stuff doesn't just instantly happen, as that would fly in the face of the survival element of the time mechanic. This is a really interesting and impressive solution that is 100% worthy of being called a cool mechanic.